Welcome to another inspiring episode of Stories Untold. It is true that the leaders of tomorrow are made today. They are innovative, focused, and they don't hold back. Meet Tshepiso Malema. He represents all what the youth of 1976 stood for. He's changing the world and he's a forward thinker.
The month of June will forever remain a reminder of the drastic measures the youth of 1976 had to take to fight for the betterment of the lives and the liberation of Black South Africans. 47 years later, after blood was shed and lives were lost, young people of our nation like Tshepiso Malema have decided not to take the struggle to the streets of our beautiful country, but to the lecture halls of institutions of higher learning and global stages. The emancipation of the youth in the 21st century will be through education and not through the barrel of a gun. Young people of our nation like Tshepiso Malema are now using the matchstick to burn the midnight oil and not the resources needed by our respective communities. At just 20 years of age, he is flying the South African flag high, not only here at home, but in the global arena. Tshepiso has put his township of Ivory Park amongst the great places where game changers and innovators are found. This is how he describes himself.
When you talk about Tshepiso Malema, we're talking about dintwana Yakokasi. I grew up in a township called Ivory Park, and I believe I'm someone who's called for a greater purpose. And I grew up like any other kid from Kokasi, and I actually decided to take a different route by being an entrepreneur. And by being an entrepreneur, I'm the founder of Gamers Territory and also my NPO organization, which is called the Tshepiso Malema Initiative.
He is a middle child and his mother's pride and joy.
Na lina la ka ke Queen Malema. Ke mai Tshepiso. Tshepiso ho la o dilentse le ngwana botlhale. Like ara wa o tlhompha a le botlhale too much. Like o tlweng bonyane ba hae o dilentse a le botlhale.
His mother, who was a direct seller, planted the entrepreneurship seed in Tshepiso at an early age. His mother and sister still remember how his wittiness became his family's saving grace.
A lot of people had an impact in my journey, but I can say that my mom had the greatest impact because that's where I started learning about business.
Look at my road to the IEC to the song, yeah. Se no strict ka chelete apana chelete o ka re ya hafla ya nyana o dira halang ka chelete o tlo botisa ra wa chelete o ka re a re dire commission what's happening a re mo tsara maybe re tse re kile brother right but no nje le dirang a sharp santse re boneng gore daily re dire le bokae then we can budget.
It's like like il motho ka re tlo la a dira business o bona a ke tsamaya ne lo mo mra wa ka re mama ke tsamaya le wena a re ke di IC go di bolong na le di soccer match somewhere a re ke di IC le ya skolo na ke mo kherisa na sa yi tshilto go skolo na budget o tsaba budget too much like le na mo ntlong ke sena selo na gona o tshilto re mama ona tshilto tsora tshilto re ke brot o bona le papa ha ina gona mna metsi na a bia a spara tshilto ka spara box gona o tshilto na metsi papa ha ya mo.
Tshepiso began his entrepreneurship journey when his father, who was his hero, was still alive. The two of them had a close relationship, and it comes at no surprise to many when Tshepiso credits his late father for his achievements.
I still say that my father is actually my hero. Sadly he actually passed on without having to see the great that I've become. He actually was guiding me to become a better man. He used to say that I should become greater than he is, so he said I should learn from his mistakes. And I believe for me to be where I am today, it's some of his great teachings.
Tshepiso's focus was not only on business ventures, he also realized that without education, he will never amount to anything. His former teacher, Tato Malika, paints us a picture of Tshepiso as a learner.
I would say he's one of the few that I've come across in terms of dedication and hard work. To be honest, he was very focused. At the same time, I felt like there's more potential from him that I've seen, and that I felt like it needs to be nurtured at the same time, exposure, for instance. So, one of the few boys they will go far in life. And then there was a point in the class, one day you're going to have an autograph. People are going to ask for your autograph because you're going far.
According to his high school friend, Katlego Makafula, Tshepiso has always been intentional of his journey to success. He made the most of opportunities he was granted. These opportunities were also centered around helping fellow learners. This as mentioned by his business partner, Litiba Posa.
First impressions with Tshepiso, he was someone who demanded attention. He liked the spotlight.
We were supposed to work on a project 2016, but then we just decided that it wasn't the right time for our collaboration, so we started working 2021. We are both religious, so we understood that when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. So yeah, we started working together on a gaming project, and this gaming project became so many ideas after that.
His thirst for knowledge and his fearlessness became his groundbreaking moment. Tshepiso met his first mentor, Emmanuel Bonoko, a marketing guru and one of the best entrepreneurs of our country, after posing a question to the then Minister of Higher Education.
We're at the Career Expo. There was also the former Minister of Higher Education. That time it was Mrs. Naledi Penda, and what they said that they actually said we should ask questions to the minister, and what I did was to raise my hand in the middle of like over 500 students that time, and I raised in my hand to ask a question about the steps that I need to take to become an entrepreneur. And Mr. Emmanuel Bonoko actually heard my question, and as he was speaking, he actually said, during his speech, those were the first words that he said, that there's a young man who said he wants to be an entrepreneur, and I want to mentor that young man. From there, it was something even greater. He invited me to, summits for entrepreneurship. He invited me to come to his office, to see how he works, and also he actually connected me to the right people who, now also contributed for me to be here.
After meeting Mr. Bonoko, Tshepiso was unstoppable and more driven, and this is one of the traits that distinguished him from his peers. Tshepiso is one of the young people of our country who leaves an indelible mark in the minds of those they interact with.
Tshepiso, what an exceptional young man, what a leader, very intelligent, such a hardworking young man. And sometimes I think he gives me so much credit because for him to be where he is, he really worked so hard. I don't think I've even done much for him. And I think he's been following some of the work that I've been doing over the years, also as a youngster. And also there were platforms like, your Forbes Africa 30 under 30, which they expose young people that are doing wonders across the world. And he follows such initiative.
This is how Tshepiso's other mentor, Tulile Kanyile, who met Tshepiso in his schooling days, reminisces on the past.
I think Tshepiso is phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. We've gifted, through the competitions or the programs that we run, laptops to a lot of young people. He's the only one that used this to start a company. Tshepiso is always ready. I can call Tshepiso now and I can say, Tshepiso, I need a business proposal now. Tshepiso will have one ready, And for me, seeing the journey and seeing where he is now, I think he's at the right place. He seemed to be a little ahead of his time in terms of his understanding for social impact. He seemed to own to own his fate. It seemed as though this was the kind of person who was really inquisitive. He seemed like he knew more than other people, but he also was the one who asked more, you know. And I mean, in the boot camp, we bring in professionals from different industries to come and mentor them and assist them to build their profiles. And he is one of the young people that picked up mentors from the process itself, whereas for other young people, it ends, their relationship ends there. And I thought that spoke to his ability to not only initiate networks, but also maintain them. But also, before we taught him elevator pitching, he seemed to have fairly keen understanding of how it is he needed to articulate himself and how to tell his story. And that made him stand out. What he's been able to achieve, it doesn't scratch yet the surface of where I believe he will go.
Tshepiso has always had aspirations of what he wanted in the foreseeable future.
My aspirations was that I want to become a computer scientist. So I remember doing research about being a computer scientist because I wanted to create my own game. And then I couldn't qualify for computer science at University of Pretoria. But my second option was information systems, of which information systems, I think it was a better and greater choice because it is more of a combination of business and entrepreneurship.
Of all the things Tshepiso was hoping to do in his lifetime before obtaining his undergraduate degree was an opportunity to be a guest lecturer in a masterclass.
Actually, it was through LinkedIn. It was a lecture from the University of Pretoria who actually texted me that, you know, she loves what I'm doing. She has been, you know, looking at my work and she would love me to come and speak to, you know, her students who are doing masters in entrepreneurship and also postgrad diploma in entrepreneurship. So I was actually, you know, I asked myself that, you know, why me? But still to a point whereby I started to understand that actually, why not me, you know? And you know, the experience in terms of lecture, being a guest lecturer for a whole master's class. These people, I'm still yet to complete my first degree, but already these people have completed, you know, so many degrees, and here I am, you know, going to stand in front of them. And also that for me, I think it gives me so much push that what I'm doing is actually, you know, something that someone sees and something that, you know, can add so much impact in someone's life.
Through his business venture Gamers Territory, his selfless character drove him to develop an educational mobile application known as Sgela App that would benefit learners who are struggling with maths and science in particular.
So Sgela is an educational game that is aimed at, you know, making, you know, STEM subjects such as math and science to be more easy. And with Sgela, we actually, you know, hoping to work with the Department of Education and, you know, have our app, you know, installed in the tablets that are being distributed in the schools. So it's just a, you know, an app that's trying to infuse fun into the education system and change the whole education system.
I didn't anticipate that he'll go to that route, but you know, incorporating education with his game idea, which is a very good thing. Remember, we have kids whereby they are controlled by the social media things and the technology. So I think that was a wise move for him to do that, because it's going to make kids to be educated at the same time, having fun at the same time.
This Sgela game should be like an educational game where students or learners will understand maths and science, you know, in a more simple way. They will get to test their imagination, get to test their intuition, and also just have fun while playing.
Of all the business concepts that he might have established, the question is why gaming?
The love for games, I believe you know, it comes from a young age when I visited my cousins who actually, you know, who live in, you know, urban areas. And I remember my first time going to, you know, their house. they were playing Xbox, and for me, I didn't know what is an Xbox that time, and I then got to play, and I got good at it, to a point that I even beat them in some of the games, and I was like, oh, actually this is something great. And hence actually now when I want the laptop, I also decided to now install a game.
There's something called GameFi, which is while you earn while you play, so you can play online and still be able to earn money from it. So it's one of the aspects that are under the industry of gaming, the economics behind gaming, and also understanding actually building a game. It's much expensive. So after that, you need to either sell as a whiteboard license, as a in-purchase app. So it's quite dynamic, but then there's a lot of money behind it, but it takes a lot of money again to build a game.
Some of Tshepiso's great achievements include lecturing his seniors, being a motivational speaker, and a game developer. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more to this 20-year-old. Amongst Tshepiso's top achievements is the Mail and Guardian top 200 young people who are making a difference in our country. In his chosen category of entrepreneurship, he was the youngest.
I was hoping to win the Mail and Guardian, but I didn't think it would be as early as now, because I remember grade 12, I did my vision board, had a 5-year plan, and I was hoping maybe I would win the Mail and Guardian, 200 young South Africans when I was maybe at least 25, but I won it when I was 19, and I was I was actually the youngest in my category, which was entrepreneurship, alongside some of the people that inspire me, like Theo Baloyi, so it was really a blessing unto me and my journey, and among other accolades that I managed to win is that I was nominated as Africa's Young Promising Founder of the Year, which was I think last year, and I also got to win the Gibbs Festival of Ideas, and also the Love Life Mpinchi Awards, and also most recently I won the Men of Valor, Gauteng Men of Valor, of which also I was the youngest.
His networking skills combined with the spirit of being teachable are the reasons he often comes to the minds of the people that are part of his close-knit community.
I actually, received the scholarship to go to the United States of America in Seattle, and it was through actually a fellow student at the University of Pretoria who actually referred me, to the scholarship. And through the scholarship, I managed to go to the University of Washington. And for me, as dintwana kokasi, I think, it didn't only change my life. For me, going abroad, I was going with all the dintwana kokasi who are looking up to me, because I've learned so much, and also from what I've learned that side, I got to come back in my country and implement whatever that I've learned. So, because when I was, in the United States, I got to also visit, the headquarters of Google, the headquarters of Tesla, and also, Microsoft, and those are the companies that I look at and be like, I want to get there. So they inspired me to actually be like, even us as Africans, we can actually build our own, Microsoft. We can also build our own, products that will go abroad. Hence, the work that I'm doing with Gamers Territory, having to advocate for the gaming industry in Africa.
Those who've crossed paths with Tshepiso are not only proud of him, they also benefited by drinking from his fountain of youth.
Don't undermine yourself as an individual. Don't allow your background to be sort of like an impediment, to be something that is going to be a hindrance in your life. So learn to surpass, learn to accept who you are. From there, if you know who you are, then you can take a step forward and achieve more. So Tshepiso is one person where I've seen him breaking all the boundaries, in particular at his age. I've seen him in grade 11. He was mingling with powerful people who are well established in this business of finance. So, yeah, he's not afraid to challenge people. He's not afraid to challenge himself. So that's what I've learned from him. And a lot of people, they tend to fail because of such. Fear it can be your worst enemy, and you'll regret later. So I've learned from him through that.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned from Tshepiso is to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. I know we are boys from the township, so dreaming is a bit difficult for us. You know, you think maybe you're not inadequate or valid enough to dream big. And he has reassured me to say my dreams are valid and I can achieve those dreams if I set my mind and put in the work to do that. Yeah. So that's the biggest lesson I've learned from him. And also, as a person, Tshepiso is very relatable. His story, when you listen to his story, you relate as a boy from the township, because I think there's a lot of boys from the township or people from the township that have those ambitions, but then they don't have that drive to say, let me go for my dreams and achieve them. And then I think he serves as an inspiration to us, my peers, young ones that are coming after us, and the older ones, when they see someone like this from the township doing the things that he does. I think they're very proud, and I'm also proud as a friend.
Dilo tse Tshepiso di dirang no gore like se tse ke no ipitsa gore modimo o hona ka mohara dilo tse Tshepiso di dirang, cause tse dintsi tse Tshepiso di dirang le nna di na le mmakatsa ke le motswadi ya gae gore ke pitsa gore Tshepiso o fitlheletse o fitlha jwang mo, but ke no bolela gore ke no ipitsa gore modimo o hona.
We love you, we appreciate you, and also just focus, you know, just really focus and stay humble. That's the only way you can grow and do exploits.
So there are all these people that have contributed towards the person you now are. So if you were to be given a moment, you know, to thank them, to let them know how grateful you are, what would you say to them?
I'll say that, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Keep, you know, empowering a black child. Keep, you know, supporting. Keep on inspiring. And because also, for me, even right now, when I see someone studying out something, when I see someone trying to, you know, start a business, I make sure that, you know, I help out, because I was at a point whereby I was also helped, and I know the amount of impact that can come just an advice, you know, just from someone telling you that keep going.
This is how Tshepiso would like to be remembered by generations that would come after him.
Someone who lived his life to impact, you know, someone who lived his life to actually to change the narrative of what can come out of, you know, a township like Ivory Park. When they look at me, they should actually also reflect on themselves and see where they can better develop themselves and empower themselves.
Catch another inspiring episode of Stories Untold next week, same place, same time.